All right, so let's talk about this Millie Weaver situation. It's a little out of control. Um, Feel free to leave comments for me as we talk about this. But this is what we got by way of an update right now. Um, this article was brought to us by the Cleveland.com. It says InfoWars correspondent Millie Weaver pleads not guilty to felony charges stemming from altercation with mother in Portage County. So last night we did a live stream where basically we were guessing based on information that was coming in. I was getting in emails and reading comments and scouring the internet. And basically, the story that I put together yesterday before any of this came out turned out to be almost dead on accurate. But let's go ahead and read this story by Corey Schaefer, Cleveland.com. InfoWars correspondent Millie Weaver and two others pleaded not guilty at a Monday arraignment in Portage County Common Pleas Court on felony charges including robbery that stemmed from an April altercation with Weaver's mother, according to court records. The two other people were her boyfriend and her brother. Portage County Common Pleas Court Judge Becky Doherty set Weaver's bond at $20,000 and ordered her released on her own recognizance. Weaver's boyfriend Gavin Wentz and brother Charles Weaver pleaded not guilty to the same charges and were issued the same bond. Weaver, whose legal name is Millicent, appears via a video stream from the Portage County Jail, where she has been held since her Friday arrest on felony charges of robbery, tampering with evidence, and obstructing justice, as well as misdemeanor charge of domestic violence. I think that it's pretty crazy that they arrested her on Friday evening, which basically forces her to be in jail all weekend. That is a little bit, doesn't make sense to me. This whole case doesn't make sense to me in a lot of ways because I'm not sure if this article gets into it, but I mean, this whole dispute's over like a $50 cell phone, and her mother decided against pressing charges, but the prosecutor went forward with it anyway. In a time where police are under the kind of scrutiny they're under right now, really, they're going to move forward with a charge like this? This whole thing makes no sense. Weaver, a Portage County grand jury handed up the sealed indictment on July 20, and a warrant was issued for the trio's arrest the same day, according to court records unsealed Monday. The indictment occurred on April 25. According to the indictment, the victim is listed as Felisa McCarran, who has been identified as Weaver's mother. Cleveland.com could not reach McCarran for comment on Monday. Eugene O'Brien, a Canton-based defense attorney who was listed in the court record as representing Weaver, did not return a call to this office on Monday. Cleveland.com has requested records related to the case from the office of the Portage County Sheriff, prosecutor, clerk of courts, municipal court, juvenile court, and child and protective services. Yeah, that's another aspect of this story. She was arrested in front of her two children. Her older son was very distraught. You could see in the video that she posted. Weaver recorded a portion of her arrest on video with her cell phone. She claimed that she was about to break huge breaking news, and the video spurred conspiracy theories online that it was somehow connected to a video she was about to release online. The video, which claims to have uncovered evidence of a covert government mind control program aimed at removing President Donald Trump from office based on interviews with two people, was published shortly after her arrest. Yeah, I've watched that video a few times, and I mean, it's pretty explosive. I've got to watch it a few more times just to even get everything that's in it. I'm not a big conspiracy theory person, but when somebody gets arrested for a $50 cell phone situation and the victim doesn't want her arrested, yeah, that's going to make me pretty interested in what's going on. A GoFundMe account established in her name has raised more than $140,000 as of Monday. InfoWars is an extremely far-right conspiracy theory website founded by Alex Jones, AJ, that has been widely denounced as spreading debunked claims, including that the government carried out, the U.S. government is behind a host of tragedies, including the September 11 terrorist attack and the 2012 killing of 26 students and teacher at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. Parents of 8 children murdered in the Sandy Hook attack have filed defamation lawsuits against Jones and InfoWars. Jones, in fairness, AJ has a different version of events than what's going on there, and you should definitely get both sides of the story if you want to reach out there. But I totally understand the parents filing that lawsuit. It's there was some false information, but that's not what this story is about. This story is about Millie Weaver being arrested in what appears to be some sort of retaliation or intimidation tactic by the government. Jones has also claimed the government uses weather weapons to create natural disasters, including tornadoes, and also puts chemicals in drinking water in an attempt to turn people gay. Okay. Is this a news outfit? Cleveland.com? Wow. I think maybe Cleveland.com's reporters need to check their facts a little. Something conspiracy people would think, would believe. Anyway, this is not about that. In America, we have the right to believe whatever we want to believe, including crazy conspiracy theories. So, anyway, that's what's going on when it comes to Millie Weaver. That's kind of the latest update. Let's see. Harris and what did you say here? You said evil on steroids. They traffic innocent babies and children. Now they're going after Millie's babies. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what did Crawford. She said, did she escape? Don't think that she escaped. I think she got out on bond. But okay, this is a pretty crazy story because right as she's releasing this documentary, she gets, or not as she's releasing it, she was planning on releasing it on Wednesday in 2 days, but on Friday they show up at her house. She's working on the documentary. Obviously, maybe the government knows that she's going to release it, and there's this secret indictment that nobody knows anything about. Police show up, the sheriff shows up at her house, arrests her. She doesn't know what it's about, and obviously everybody on the internet starts thinking this is the government trying to silence a reporter from releasing explosive information on the internet. And over the course of the weekend, we sort of discovered that it really wasn't about that. There was something legitimate going on in the background, but basically the story is the mother showed up and visited Millie and her husband or her boyfriend, Gavin, and I guess the brother. And the mother took pictures of documents relating to the story that Millie's working on. Your show keeps rebuffering. Okay, that must mean I have a bad internet connection, so I'm not going to continue this. Hopefully you guys got a sense of what was going on. Sorry about the bad internet connection situation. Maybe I can actually solve that problem by changing my internet connection to a more reliable one here. I have a backup. Let's see if I can change it here. I do have a backup. But it's not going to my backup for some reason. Sorry about this. Why don't you go to my backup? Yeah, I watched Shadowgate. It's interesting documentary. I've watched it several times. There's so much to learn there. is the hopefully the quality's better now. Anyway, back to the story. So Millie and her boyfriend Gavin, they go to the mother and they ask her to delete the pictures she took of the documents that were related to her story. And she, I guess, put up a fight, decided not to delete them. So either Millie or Gavin or the brother grabbed her phone and deleted the pictures, or even some say smashed up the phone. And and then they gave the pieces back, or they gave the phone back to the mother, and they left. The mother called the police, wanted to report them, wanted to get them arrested, and so the police come out. They take her statement, they fill out a police report, but then at some point later, maybe a day later, a few days later, the mother changed her mind and wanted to withdraw the charges. So she no longer wanted to charge her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend and her son. It's the craziest. I think it's her son too, unless it's not her son. Maybe it's just Millie's brother. Anyway, I don't know what that relationship is, but she changes her mind, doesn't want him charged, and everything goes away. And then the prosecutor on her own decides to open a grand jury and go after Millie and Gavin and the brother. So that's kind of the story behind it, but it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make it. First of all, it doesn't make any sense that they're going after Millie over a $50 cell phone. It makes no sense. Second of all, it doesn't make sense that they're going after Millie when they don't have a victim that wants to press charges. It's so much harder to get a conviction when you don't have a victim. So that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Millie is being arrested on a Friday evening so that she's forced to be in prison over the weekend. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why they arrested her sometime Friday afternoon or evening, and then she's not booked into prison until 2 a.m. That doesn't make sense. There's just so many things about this story that are awkward to me. Right down to the point where usually if prosecutors are going to have a hard time making a case, they'll do anything to get rid of the case. They'll plea it out. They'll hope that it goes away. And if they have a victim that doesn't even want to press charges, they never go forward with it. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that they are trying to retaliate and intimidate Millie Weaver for some reason. It also does not make sense to me that they would arrest her to try to stop the story from coming out. They knew that this story was coming out. By arresting her, they're only giving credence to the story. They're almost making the story more believable. People like me that are independent-minded would never watch a documentary like this, but because they arrested Millie, I'm extremely interested in it, and I've watched it several times. Let's see here. It says, Millie is only contributing some freelance reports to InfoWars. Now she is released, and hopefully she can keep her babies from CPS. Not easy to be a conservative journalist in a democratic city. Very true. And that's a whole other aspect of this story, is they arrested her in front of her children. And with a criminal charge like this, probably CPS is going to get involved. There's going to be a review of whether they should be put in foster care. Not to mention that a young child seeing their parents arrested right in front of them is going to affect them the rest of their life. CPS has no reason to take babies. They just want to break up the nuclear family. Yes, the Child Protective Services and Human Services is just a nightmare. I have to agree with that. I had an incident when I was a child where I saw my father be arrested for a stupid charge. That's the other thing. The child sees the mother arrested, and it's a completely stupid charge. But in my case, we were having a bonfire, and my mother threw a tire into the bonfire pit, caused black smoke to go up. This was back in the 80s. And the police come out and say, who threw the tire in the pit? And my father said, I did, to protect my mother. And so they take him away. They arrest him. And that really affected me. It affected me like for the rest of my life. I've always thought about that and reflected on that. So that is a really, when law enforcement or the government comes and takes your parents away in handcuffs, it really affects you in a bad way. I'm not sure. I think the sheriff in this case did not put Millie in handcuffs. He just brought her to the car, but I don't know. The video doesn't really show that. But that's going to affect those kids for the rest of their life, and they're going to remember it, and it's going to be branded in their brain. And now, because of these charges, if her kids are taken away from her, I mean, that's why I think it's intimidation and retaliation for this article. I don't think the prosecutor probably even wanted to pursue this, but they were given pressure from somebody high up in the political sphere, and they went ahead and convened the grand jury over a $50 cell phone. Oh my goodness. When do you ever convene grand juries over $50 cell phones? They convene the grand jury over that cell phone and then go and arrest her. It has to be retaliation. Going after her kids, going after her emotionally, putting her in prison for 3 days or jail for 3 days because they arrest her on Friday. You know that was planned. Everything about this just reeks of retaliation. Crawford, they'll take Millie's guns if she's convicted of a felony. That's true. Yeah, I mean, and I think she's a gun proponent. I know she's friends with Caitlin Bennett, who's a gun proponent. So they definitely might. But when I think of this story, I just think that it has to be about retaliation, and that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I'm not sure if it's 100% about retaliation. It looks like Fox News actually covered this story. That's interesting. Let's see what Fox had to say about this, if I can even get this to play.
There's never been a more critical time.
There's a commercial. I can't let the commercial play, that's for sure. Not sure that. Let's see if I can get past this commercial before I play it. They're definitely not going to want Fox News on. Wow, this is one long ad. It's interesting that Fox News is even covering this story. All right, here we go. Oh no, it's just one of those bullet point things. That sucks. I was thinking they actually were covering the story. It says a correspondent for InfoWars, the far-right conspiracy theorist outlet, was arrested at her home in northern Ohio Friday on charges of robbery and domestic violence, according to the report. Millie Weaver, 29, was arrested after a Portage County grand jury headed up an indictment with her charges, the Plain Dealer reported. So this is a report from the Plain Dealer. Here's a picture of Millie at the 7th Annual Los Angeles Jewish Films Festival. Records cited by the outlet say Weaver and her 45-year-old boyfriend, Gavin Wentz, are both being held at the Portage County Jail on charges of robbery, tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and domestic violence. Weaver live-streamed a portion of the arrest on her official Facebook page Friday. An officer is seen at the front door of the home informing her of the grand jury indictment and the charges. She goes on to say, guys, I don't know what's happening right now. The police have just shown up at my house. And they said that they're arresting me, Weaver says, before questioning why she wasn't given more of a notice. You can see the film is right there. Let's see. She then says, without elaborating, that she was about to report huge breaking news before the officer tells her to get in the car. As of Sunday, the video has received more than 2,300 likes and nearly 200,000 views. Weaver films YouTube videos under the moniker Millennial Millie. In her most recent video titled Shadowgate, she interviews two people who claim to have knowledge of military-grade psychological warfare weapons being used on American citizens. Weaver and Wentz are set to appear before the common pleas court judge who will set their bond. It was not immediately clear. So this is kind of... So that's kind of a dated article about Millie. Let's see here. Yeah, tell me more about that. Josh, are you interested in hearing Millie's phone call from jail? Do you have a link to that? I haven't done a lot of research on this tonight for what's broken like the last few hours. I just wanted to talk about kind of the update as far as what has happened with her getting let out of jail, the $20,000 bond. I'm guessing that she's going to release a statement soon. Yeah, if you follow Tori on Twitter, posted a photo of her and Millie after Millie was released from prison. So if you go to Millie's Twitter page, which I have on my phone here, but I can't get it on this screen. Anyway, I think I've kind of given the updates that I wanted to give as far as this video goes. She is out of prison now. They were just trumped up charges. The police were clearly just trying to retaliate against her, and that's pretty much what's going on here. I'm not sure I'm going to make any more videos about this just because the story is kind of where it's at right now. We know what happened. We know that it was a trumped up charge, that the victim is the mother. The mother does not want them charged. I would guess that the prosecutor, based on the political pressure and all the outrage that's going on around the world, is going to try to find a way to quietly make this go away. They're probably going to offer her a plea deal. I hope she doesn't take it. I hope she just fights this all the way to the end. This is a BS charge. It should never have happened. I can't believe that the cops would do something like this, the prosecutor would do something like this. The only way this makes sense is if they were getting political pressure to get Millie charged with something in retaliation and intimidation. And also, I'm not sure, but the government has like a formula when they know that a bad story is about the release, where they try to discredit people around that bad story, around that story. They do it all the time, and this is right in the playbook of that formula, where they come up with some false charge. They scour through your life. There's an old saying, show me the man, or give me the man and I'll show you the crime. That basically means that when the government digs into your life hard enough, they will find something to charge you with. In fact, somebody wrote a book once called Three Felonies a Day, and the premise of the book is that the average American commits 3 felonies a day, just walking around doing normal things, and you don't even know what those felonies are, from the way that you run your business to the way that you drive your car to the way that you just operate normally as you go through life, and that is a real thing. If the government wants you, they're going to get you. There's nothing you can do about it. There's just way too many laws on the books right now. I think that's one of the reasons why in the wake of George Floyd, there was so many protests, and there were so many people that joined the movement that we needed police reform and accountability. But then it turned into a nightmare scenario where now it's riots and protests and looting, and those are just continuing on in Portland and Minneapolis and Seattle and Los Angeles. And I have a theory about that. I mean, this may be a conspiracy theory, but I think that it's suspicious that these things are allowed to continue, because cops do have the ability to stop stuff like this. But it seems like if you're a bad cop and you do not want police reform, then you probably want the riots and looting and all that stuff to continue. It's a weird theory. I'm not sure that I buy into it 100%, but it is a thought that I had that maybe the cops don't even want this to end, because if it ends and the conversation refocuses around police reform and police accountability, then that's going to not be good for the corrupt and dirty police officers out there. Just a thought I had. Not sure what your thoughts are on that. But back to Millie. I think it's retaliation and intimidation. I think it's right in the government's playbook to try to discredit somebody that is putting out news that they do not want. They did it with Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe when they made up that charge, or they charged him with something. They did it with after Edward Snowden released all that stuff. They went on a smear campaign against him. And it's sad because when people hear about Millie now, they're always going to talk about this story. Every time Millie does something, this story is going to pop. Oh, she's the InfoWars reporter that got in a fight with her mom. It's so sad when mud starts getting slung around and the government starts finding unique ways to go after you. It's just so sad that this happens, and I feel so bad for Millie. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave comments on this. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, share this video, share other videos on my channel. There's some good stuff on there. I did make a video about this earlier today where I actually show the indictment, read the entire indictment, all the documents for the indictment. Go back to that video, watch that video. I may come back on and do another live when I see some more updates, but I think this story is sort of cycled through. Right now, Millie's got a fight ahead of her, and I feel for her, and I wish her good luck. She's got a fight ahead of her. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to sign off now.